250 years. It really matters to us as a people. We were all dancing to the YMCA, my kids and I.
On our Facebook page, as well as always can call me with more questions. Regarding the chip seal project stuff, so it's gonna be starting on the 17th and 18th of July over on Iverson Road, and then 68th Street there. And it'll hopefully be completed by August 8th is what they're saying. That's chip seal, fogging, and then striping. So we'll also post that on Facebook as well, when that work is being done, as well as there'll be some signage up around the area. So please be aware of that. Other than that, that's all I have. Cody Normark, welcome aboard. Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, Stephen. I'll finish this off. Cody, we won't make you go through it. You've only been on the job for 3 minutes.
I'll keep it short. Tomorrow they are supposed to come fix the transmitter in the water tower. Hopefully all that goes well and we're done with that project. So I'll be able to give you an update how that goes on the next meeting. Besides that, that's all I have for you.
Okay, for me, awfully light. Just want to thank everyone that participated and helped, either donating time, funds, whatever it was to make the Freedom Fest happen. It was phenomenal. A lot of people around, a lot of good times had by everybody. It was awesome. You love that community feel. Second, before you guys start dumping asphalt in them low spots, can you guys get really good measurements on what type of sinking we've had? Like before they fill them in, and I know we've already done this a number of times, so you can't really gauge what the overall impact has been over the years, but I would hate to fill it in one more time just for it to come back next year and be like, well, shoot, it's only settled half an inch. It's probably not that bad. So get some really, really good before measurements across all of our sinkholes, and there's a lot of them. Okay, modifications or approval of the agenda. I do have one thing to add. We had like a last second request to get some repairs done on one of our squad cars. So I've got a quote from Jensen Automotive that I can run you guys through if we can add that one.
I also have, was speaking with Wendy today. Today was the deadline for our open position for supervisor. Just didn't get the turnout as far as applicants I was hoping for, so I'd like to get that on the agenda to extend that, so that would be under old business for me.
So we will go old business number 4, street and water supervisor position. 5 would be the rural health grant, and 6 would be the quote from Jensen Automotive. Sound good?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the modifications of adding street and water superintendent to number 4. And then number 6 would be the quote from Jensen's Automotive.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the modified agenda. Anything else, guys? Any discussion on that? Okay, let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. All right, we're on to old business. Hey, Liz.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sure can.
All right. Well, I too will try to follow suit and be quick this evening. It does indeed look like we have a short agenda, even with the additions. First and foremost, I want to tell everyone a happy late 4th of July. Pretty cool accomplishment for the country, 250 years. Definitely something to celebrate. And I'm very pleased to hear that Freedom Fest went off without a hitch. So that's good news. I also wanted to welcome our new commission member. I'll look forward to working with Cody as we tackle and approach all the things that are involved in municipal government. So welcome aboard, and good to see you here. Congrats on the election. I guess for my purposes this evening, gentlemen, I may have a question or two for Josh during his report. I know that Josh has been in touch with Steve. I'm not operating at this point under the impression that Mr. Nagel's actually been out there. I certainly second what Brett is telling you because as was discussed during Brett's deposition, and I'll give a good plug there. He did a fabulous job. Brett was deposed between our last meeting and this one, and he's a remarkably good president who's remarkably familiar with the affairs of the city to the degree that he's had an opportunity to observe them. And I very much appreciate that. We have a board of folks who do their homework, and Brett certainly did his. So well done there. I guess that was one of my items of business. But in any case, this litigation and the issue with the streets has been ongoing for such a lengthy period of time. Certainly, Kyle, to the degree that you can kind of stand watch over that and see to it that, good record keeping is kept. Before we make those temporary fills or repairs, that would be helpful. I don't think there's been any activity, at least as far as I'm aware, on that chain, and we can ask Josh a little bit more about that during his section. But I think we're hoping to get Steve out there, but certainly if there are repairs that need to be done in advance of that, absolutely, as Brett said, whatever you can, however you can, take good measurements and document accordingly. I'll supplement the discovery to that end if we need to. Other than that, I don't think that I actually have anything to add at this point. There'll be continuing updates on that litigation. I know that I have one project with Wendy. Sorry, I was late on that email, Wendy. I will catch you later this week. But everything is moving as it should. And in my mind, that's pretty good news in the scheme of all things. No hiccups and nothing crazy to report. So that's all I have, unless you gentlemen have questions.
I think I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, what about Josh Reiner? Do we got him on? Got him on?
Yes, sir. Are you able to hear me all right?
We got you.
Yeah, sounds great. Pretty brief tonight for you guys. So construction update on the baseball field. Majority of work is pretty well complete out there. The hydro mulch and seeding, they have a little bit of that remaining to complete. Things have been a little soggy for them, so waiting for some drying weather to be able to finish off the remaining areas there. I am aware concerns on the fencing along the right field fence line. Brett, you had mentioned that, so we'll be working with the contractor on that. And we'll be, once they get the seeding done, we'll have a substantial completion walkthrough with them. Get that scheduled and kind of generate any outstanding items to correct or complete there to satisfy the north field component of the project there. So I guess attached to the agenda then is contractor's application for payment number 2. The value of that is $162,768.37. I would recommend approval of that item.
I'll make a motion to approve pay app number 2 in the amount of $162,768.37.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second to approve pay app number 2. Any discussion on that one? All right, let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. Hey Josh, before we move on, just question, is that an issue with the fence or is that an issue with the grading on site?
I haven't taken a look at it yet. I haven't been able to, I've seen some pictures, I guess, and it's just kind of hard to tell, but I'm planning to be out in town tomorrow, so I'll take a look at what's going on there and we'll circle back on that. So.
Okay.
And then Josh, I guess I haven't spoke to you, but where would you like to meet? We meeting at City Hall or where are we planning on meeting at 10?
Yeah, yep. We'll just meet up at City Hall and then go out to the project from there. So.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, I guess on the ball field project, Southfield, they're potential, at the last meeting, we were talking somewhere around July 20th start date. In conversations with Wendy, it sounds like the field, the south field, they'll be pretty well done using that as of Thursday this week. So there's a chance they may, the contractor may be able to start on that component a little earlier too. So to be, I guess, followed up on here as we get a little closer. So and then I guess the last item there on South Main Street, Kyle mentioned we have a meeting scheduled with the geotechnical engineer on that project for 10 a.m. tomorrow. Kind of circling back on Liz's question there as well. So with that is all I have. Unless there are any questions.
I don't have a question, but thank you for telling me that, Josh. And once you complete what you and Steve and Kyle need done, will you give me a call?
Yep.
Thank you.
We'll do that.
Okay, thanks Josh.
All right, thank you.
Patrick, you're up.
Good evening. So to start off, just to give a brief update on the Signal Road project that we were tasked with last meeting. The survey began on that project and our survey crew estimates it'll be about a 2-week completion time to get the topo done. So they're thinking by end of this week, we'll have the survey in hand as well as the surfaces rendered and be able to have the team start really working on that. We did do a preliminary drainage evaluation just to make sure that collecting all the survey at one time, make sure we're getting everything that's flowing into there. So we shouldn't have to come back and collect more in an ideal sense. In addition, we have reached out to 4 geotech firms that we worked with in the past and kind of received quotes from them for the soils testing. We contracted materials testing services to help us out with that. Talking to them, they had stated they're about 2 weeks out on their drilling schedule, 3 if the weather doesn't cooperate, which I know last week it really didn't. But that being said, we should have the report here shortly in hand in the next couple weeks. That'll kind of give us all the topo, and that will give us the information we need to start putting together those conceptual 30% plans. So we can have that initial meeting, kind of talk through what we're seeing as the best options to proceed here and schedule that meeting. That way we can get that done. We had a project kickoff meeting. The team is ready and knows what they need to get done. So we're ready to move on that as soon as possible. As soon as that data comes in. Is there any questions about that project right now, or kind of early?
And the boring phase.
Yeah, we're just in the starting gates right now, so I figured not, but figured to just let you guys know kind of what we've been doing on it so far. Other than that, the only other item I have here tonight is that 67th Street rehabilitation project that we have that task order kind of floating out there, and we had tabled last meeting. So I'm not sure what kind of discussions the township and you guys had, or where we kind of stand on that.
You can go ahead, Kyle, but it sounds to me like there's been no discussion up to this point, so we're really in a stalemate.
Yeah, we did not speak with the township at all regarding their half of the roadway there. I know Chucky's in the audience. Didn't know if you want to come up and talk about a little bit or not, since he's here. But as far as the city's side of that road, I mean, I would like to get that side done no matter what. I mean, that road is completely atrocious, to say the least. And it's been ongoing for many years. But the dilemma is we don't own the whole road. So that's kind of the standstill we're in.
And that wouldn't help you for tonight anyway, because your scope is for the entirety of the road, right?
Yeah, I
You'd
would
have
need to write up a specific scope and task order to kind of cover that.
Well, we failed you, but we can try again in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. It's a difficult process to work through, and I just figured I would ask kind of where we're at. If there's anything I can do to help with it, I mean, just let me know, and I'd be more than happy to kind of pitch in. But that's all I got for tonight, and unless you guys have something else for me.
I don't.
Thank you.
Nope.
Okay. All right, number 4, we got the street and water supervisor posting that we'd like to extend. Kyle, what are you thinking? If it goes out on Saturday, run it till the 25th? That'd be a 2-week span, huh?
Yeah, correct. I'd like to extend the water and supervisor role for another 2 weeks. So the deadline would be the July 25th, 2026.
Is that your motion?
I'll make a motion to extend the water and street superintendent advertisement for another 2 weeks, ending July 25th, 2026.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second to extend the advertisement for the street and water superintendent position for 2 weeks, with the deadline of July 25th. Any discussion on that one?
Do you want to make it either Friday or Monday, just because there's no one to take applications on Saturdays if they wanted, if that's the deadline? I mean, up to you, but there's no one at City Hall to submit an application to if they want to drop one off on it.
All right, 24th or 27th. You don't have to run through that whole thing again, just amend it with a different date.
I'll July 27th be the deadline then.
I'll second that.
All right, any other discussion on that? Let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. All right, new business, boy, I hope I get this right. Joy wants to go out, and get a grant for some patio furniture for the community center. It sounds like it's a pretty good opportunity for no.
She did get the grant for the patio furniture from the Tioga Community Foundation. She wants to apply for a grant through the Rural Health Transformation Grant. It's a walking program. And I think the amount that she applied for was somewhere around 120,000 for that program. And so she just is looking for approval to apply for that.
Rural Health Transformation Grant in the amount of 120,000.
Do you know, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 125,000.
125,000.
Yeah, you can spend that on multitude of things that's health related, so. This walking grant, you can spend it on shoes for all the participants, you can do it on health watches, you could do it on gym equipment, you could do it on anything health related, it had a whole bunch of items listed and whatnot, but, yeah. So she applied for it, and I think you get access to it if you get it, in like 6 months or something.
Yeah.
It'd be next year that everything would be in the motion if she got approved for it.
It's a great program just to bring a healthy aspect to the community.
And I know the champions for that grant were Live Tioga and TMC. We were part of it collaboratively together on the walk grant. So
Yeah.
Joy filled it out on behalf of the community center, but we were involved with that as well. On the Live side and the TMC side.
Honestly, sounds like a good deal. I'm okay with it doing it this one time because I heard, I think, and I heard, I think. We don't know exactly what's going on, and anytime a city employee wants to go out for a grant, I want it running through City Hall. We should be able to put a package together and produce our very, very best. So
Yeah.
totally fine with it happening this time, but last time. Going forward, everything else runs through City Hall.
I'll make a motion to approve the rural health grant application.
I'll second that. All right, we got a motion and a second to approve the rural health grant transfer application, sorry. Any discussion on that? Let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. All right, next we've got a quote to repair a squad car of ours. Pretty simple job here, brakes, rotor shocks. Nick Oster wasn't able to get us the information before the agenda went out, so he called me and asked if we could add it on, which is what we're doing. Total cost is $1,974.88.
I will make a motion to approve the PD squad car quote for Jensen's repair in the amount of $1,974.88.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second to approve the Jensen Automotive quote. Let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. Well, we are on to the consent agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Mr. Stewart, you're probably gonna ask, payroll was $72,215.38. The bills were $234,519.33. Okay, let's vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion carries. Okay, we are on to public comment. What do you got? You don't have to.
Can you speak about the township's opinion on 67th Street?
We can, yeah. I mean, we talked about it, so it's open. We won't be able to do anything definitive tonight, but yeah, I'd love to hear
Talk
more.
about it. I'm here representing the Board of Supervisors of Tioga Township, and we'd be absolutely tickled to relinquish what you'd call it, ownership, management, maintenance of 67th Street between North Dakota 40 and Waynes County 21. We're probably as ashamed of it as everybody else is, but with the funds that the township has, we would have little to zero financial input to a project like that. And then we would be concerned about maintenance down the road. No paving projects aren't gravel, like Spendy. And at the moment, Tioga Township isn't in a position for any maintenance of any sort. But we would absolutely be tickled to see that road fixed up. I did some studying with Williams County, the highway manager, and Tanner said, yeah, you can do whatever you want. And I said, well, okay, we would like to relinquish management ownership of that portion of that road. He said, do whatever you want. And I just went through my handbook, my township officer's handbook, and it's nothing in there saying anything about getting rid of a road township basis. So yeah, that's all I've got for that.
Okay. Liz, I know initially we talked about doing like a joint powers agreement or something of the sort to have like a mutual aid for those long-term maintenance items. Like, what is the path forward if there's just, it's gonna be a one-sided ordeal. We just know that.
Well, certainly, I think I appreciate the township at least telling us that, you know, they're open to the idea, and if it gets it done, that they would be interested in vacating, so to speak, their interest there. That's kind of a novel question. I don't know that I've met with the idea of or done any research of a township conveying whatever interest they may have in a public roadway. I imagine under the circumstance, it sounds like there would be no real objection in principle. And in fact, in practice, that might be the best arrangement for anyone. But I don't want to guess about what that process looks like. I imagine, you know, I could reach out to county planning and zoning or the county state's attorney's office. I'm not exactly sure which attorney they have assigned to that. I have an idea of who that might be, but I don't even want to say it out loud and be wrong. So I'm sure that I can hunt down the correct county official because, you know, even though it's a township road, that's not, I guess, and I should know this offhand, but I don't. Maybe you guys can tell me, is that additional stretch of the road, does that lie within the extraterritorial portion of the city, or is that completely outside of our extraterritorial zone? Does anybody know that offhand or no?
It does. It does lie within the ETJ.
Okay. You know that I think, I mean, again, I'm speculating and I can do the research and make a few calls, guys. I think that would be helpful if the totality of that stretch is within our ETZ. I could see us making a little headway. I still think probably want to communicate with the county at large just to make sure that nobody's going to get fluffy. But I mean, I think there's what I can tell you. I don't know exactly what the path looks like, but it seems to me that it's logical that there's a path forward. A JPA to me probably doesn't sound like the right tool at the moment because the joint powers agreement would essentially, you know, kind of require combined contribution. Everybody might be contributing something different. But there's usually, you know, they would remain intact to their respective interests. And it sounds like the township is more nearly proposing, you know, forfeit is the wrong word, but vacating their interest there. So let me do a little bit of research. But I appreciate the township sharing that they're not at all against the idea. And it sounds like you guys have a common goal. I think we could get that somewhat sorted and have a better idea, of course, by the next meeting.
I guess the one question I had was with the township, do you know if there's any grants or anything, Chucky, that you guys can apply for that would be able to understand and not get kind of tricky as far as if you guys are vacating your section, but you apply for a grant, are you still able to use them funds to pay for that part or your half if you're vacating it? I'm not sure how that works, but are there funds that you guys can apply for that would fit that bill?
I had applied for a grant from the NDDOT, probably in 22 or 23 was the last one that was even brought up to us. So we did apply for that grant. We were turned down. And then as far as half, Tioga Township only has about 15% of that road, probably. We have one shop, Wilmer Roll-Off Shop on the south side of it. And then we have the Sklisky farmstead on the east end, and then that agricultural land, which isn't taxable anyway. So Tioga Township has just such a little bit of it financially to gain. So anyway, but I have applied for that grant, and the lady in the office over here prior, she got me onto that NDDOT grant, and I would gladly do another one if I've been with the county at the January meeting, township meeting, and keeping up on it, but there really isn't anything that's come up. I would gladly do it many as I have to, many as we have to.
I think that's a good idea, Kyle. And if you're willing, Chuck, I think that's a really good idea is before anybody forfeits anything or vacates anything or puts pen to paper, if there are any available financial tools by way of grant or similar arrangement, I think that's probably worth looking into as we approach the next meeting as well. I have doubts if you don't own something, probably you can't apply for a grant to improve it. But certainly if you own it or a small percentage of it and you're able to assert that there's another entity with joint ownership who's very interested in improvement, that might substantially help your position. I don't know that. I mean, I don't grant grants, but it seems rational to me.
Yeah, and probably the other tough challenge to it as well is we're getting to the point too where we're gonna have to make a decision shortly because we're gonna have to get bids put out and surveying all done and the whole works. So our timeline is getting pretty close as well. So we're kind of between a rock and a hard place. I mean, that road, it just needs to be done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's completely atrocious.
Can Bros run calcs for us? I'm not saying that that's the way that'll go. It sounds like they've done a total scope, which of course is helpful, but can they proportion it? So we would have that information. I see the nodding and I think that would be a helpful piece of information to have both for grant purposes and for kind of a long-term understanding of what that immediate commitment and long-term commitment might look like. I would be interested to know that number too.
I'll also talk to Josh Reiner tomorrow when he's in town and also have him put together a quote as well. And then we can move forward as well with that, with both quotes.
Perfect.
Okay, all good. Liz, we have not adjourned yet, and being how we lost Jaden at the very first part of the meeting, he had something that he would have talked about in his commissioner's report, and we just lost him. Now, the question is, and I know I can talk about that, but I feel like that might lead to something actionable by the board. So are we clear to talk and potentially move on more items?
Yeah, you haven't adjourned the meeting. I guess the answer to that question is it depends because I don't know what Jaden was going to suggest. So why don't you tell us what you want to talk about and then we can go from there.
Well, it's a sad story. It's only sad because I'm selfish and I like to see people around indefinitely, but Desi Hansen has, I guess, noticed us that she wants to retire. She wants to hit the starting line / finish line. I won't read her resignation letter. Don't want to embarrass her, but it's a tough day for me. Super excited for her, but tough day for everybody that gets to work with her. Now, the real zinger here and the bright spot is she had asked if we would consider letting her put in a few hours from time to time to help with utility billing. So I guess the ask would have been if we would be interested in allowing her to, retire, which I still want to say no about, but let her come back on a part-time basis.
I think that's doable. And certainly I think you can note that it's a point of discussion for this meeting. I mean, I think you have to take under advisement Desi's retirement letter. I think we should all object, but respect her request because she has done a fabulous job and she's a fabulous person. But I think you can talk about that, Brett. And didn't we just do something similar in streets? Didn't we
Yes.
allow someone to roll to semi-retirement under sort of a similar arrangement?
We did, but the only difference here is it was an agenda item. This one would have been covered in a commissioner's report.
Ooh. What is Desi's anticipated retirement date? Did she state in the letter? I've seen
July
it.
10th.
And so that will come up before
days.
our next meeting. I think you can go ahead and discuss it. Can somebody just entertain, or Brett, you'll entertain it, a motion to make one more modification to agenda? I mean, I realize we're out of order, but I would do that and then just supplement the agenda for this.
What do you think, guys? Can we add
Yeah.
Wendy, what do we want to call it? We want to call it adding a part-time position?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just transitioning from full-time to part-time. We're not opening a new position. We're just kind of downgrading the current position. Not downgrading, that's the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you're altering or reducing the hours of a current
Right.
position.
Yeah, I'm up for that. I guess I'm not sure how we have to word that.
Well, why don't you just move to amend the agenda to include a discussion of the alteration of Desi's position? That would be the first thing, and then you can head into discussion if you add it to the agenda.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda with the alteration of
Deputy
Desi's-
auditor.
deputy auditor position.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second to amend the agenda with the alteration of the deputy auditor position. Any discussion? I think we kind of already have. Let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. So speaking of, let's work the traps on that one. How do you guys feel about that? It'll be a change in title, change in responsibility, but I mean, gosh, we've all worked with Desi. We know what she brings to the table. And it would be just an absolute blessing to have someone like that want to continue working with us in a reduced capacity.
Well, as far as my stance goes, I think it's probably a necessity because Desiree is very in tune with Neptune, our water management system. And there's a lot of difficulties and frustrations that we still have with that system and working out the bugs. So I think with her being able to come in and help Shani and the other gals in the office to better understand it, I think will be a huge benefit for everyone overall. So I'm in full support of that.
know, I believe she did talk about she would be more than willing to give her assistance and help train the next person as well. And this would be a good opportunity to allow that to happen.
Is there anything you guys want to move on? You want to put it in legal form?
Excuse me, I'll make a motion to approve Desiree Hanson down to part-time basis for deputy auditor. Second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second to approve Desi Hanson's position as deputy auditor to a part-time basis. Okay, let's vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion carries. Like that a lot. Thank you, guys. Okay, so for reals now, end of the agenda. We'll just need a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. Let's vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. We're adjourned at 7:41 PM.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Liz.